Hello everyone, Bob here. Today we're going to talk about the other two movies, the animated movies that I was going to talk about as part of my 90s era Batman. Uh, Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero, and the subsequent Batman Beyond Return of the Joker. Now, I'm going to say right off the bat that neither one of these are as good as Mask of the Phantasm, but they were never going to be. Mask of the Phantasm is one of those rare movies that does everything right that would it's almost impossible for him to live up to that again. But both films have their merits, and let's talk about them and see what we've got. For Batman Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero, I watched the version in the Blu-ray set. And that film is about Mr. Freeze is living up in the Arctic Circle, and he has kind of an adoptive Eskimo son. He's got Nora is still frozen or cryogenically suspended because of her disease, and a submarine unwittingly causes her cryogenic chamber to bust, and so he's frantically trying to come up with organ tissue because her condition is deteriorating. And long story short, he can't. He tries the dead people to see if they have a match, and when he can't find a deceased person, he decides to look for a live one, and he finds one, and it's a bit of a spoiler here, so fair warning, it's Barbara Gordon. So he goes and kidnaps her. Then Batman and Robin go to save her, and there's a big fight and everything. But of the two two of these movies I'm reviewing, I like this one better. I have always kind of liked Mr. Freeze as a villain, whether it was in the comics or in the animated series. I'm not going to talk about Mr. Freeze as portrayed in Batman and Robin. That's the exception rather than the rule. But this one feels the most like, I mean, the Batman Beyond is a continuation. I mean, there's no denying that. It is a continuation of the animated series. But this one is still closely related to the animated series enough that it still feels like it fits in. And it's very enjoyable. Like I say, it feels like an actual extension of the series, and I feel it could maybe feels like almost like it's too like Batman Mask of the Phantasm had a very cinematic feel to it when you watched it. This one feels more like it's a multi-part episode, which is fine. I mean, it was a direct-to-video movie, but it just it isn't. I don't know. You got to not compare it to Mask of the Phantasm, but if you judge it on its own merits, it's a good movie. It's entertaining. If you enjoy the animated Batman the animated series, I highly recommend it. I'm going to give it a 8 out of 10. Now, the Return of the Joker, which is in this set, I'd show you the disc in it, but it's a little harder to. It isn't as conducive as that book is in the other one. This is the set I watched it in, and I haven't seen that one in a while, and I rewatched it for this review, and I mean, it's a good movie. I'm not going to get into spoiler territory, but I mean, for those of you that don't know, Batman Beyond is about an elderly Bruce Wayne who has trained a new kid to take over the reins of Batman. And this takes place like 40 years after the events of the animated series. And it's a good movie. I don't like it as well as I do Subzero just because it doesn't quite feel like it's an extension. I mean, Mark Hamill's back as the Joker, and anytime you have Mark Hamill as the Joker, you're great. You're well done to begin with. But that man could voice act like no other, I'm telling you. But the music felt off. I mean, some movies that kind of rock score fits. It just felt out of place here. But I mean, then again, it's how it is on the I don't know, Batman Beyond. It goes to great lengths to almost to prove that it isn't part of the rest of it's trying to differentiate itself from the rest of the animated series, and that's fine. It should. It's something completely different, but it's just a matter of preference for me. But anyway, Joker, there is a flashback scene where they show how him and Batgirl and young Robin, who is Tim Drake at this point in time because Dick Grayson is now Nightwing and has taken off to establish himself somewhere else. And what long and the short of it is that there's a flashback scene where they show how Joker dies, and but here he is 40 years later coming back, and everybody's like, that's not possible. How's he doing this? And there is an explanation. It's all explained. But all in all, there are enough callbacks to the original animated series that make this film quite enjoyable for the fan. And in the end, I'm going to give this particular film a 7.5 out of 10. It's good. It doesn't feel quite like it fits in with the others, and it's just a matter of preference. Some of you guys may prefer this one leaps and bounds over Subzero. Some of you may even prefer it over Mask of the Phantasm, and that's fine. That's part of what makes the world go around. Everybody has slightly different tastes. So, anyway, that's all I've got this morning. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Please subscribe to this channel. Follow me on Facebook or Twitter. Just search for Bob the Film Guy. And this is Bob, signing off for now.